Walter E. Williams on the myth of price gouging. Now, this is like my second video of this type of like this of the day. I earlier did a video on the great Thomas Sowell on on price controls, and so now I thought it'd be fitting to do one on the myth of price gouging because they're saying that price gouging is happening. I can cite the San Francisco Federal Reserve on there looking for price gouging. I can cite that on the instances where there actually was price gouging, the people pay companies end up being sued and had to pay for it. So it's really no price gouging going on. So I wanted to show even more evidence of that from one of our greatest economists ever, Walter E. Williams. So we'll get his take on the myth of price gouging. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. Also, follow me on X, where I put out news and my thoughts throughout the day there as well. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this clip. Here we go.
In the wake of a disaster, such as a hurricane, there's an immediate change in the scarcity conditions, and that's reflected in higher prices for goods and services. Say a family of four, you use one example, a family of four sees their home damaged or destroyed. Now, before disaster prices, they, let's say a mother and wife, a mother and father, they'll take their two children to a hotel and they say, look, let's rent 2 rooms so the kids can watch all that nonsense on TV and we can rest in peace. Then they get to the hotel and find that prices have doubled or tripled. Then what will they do? They say, well, those kids just won't turn on the damn TV, and we'll all live in one room together. Now, what does that do? That makes a room available for somebody else who does not have a place to live. So higher prices give people incentive to economize on scarce resources. Another example, using the Florida Hurricane Andrew disaster, windfall profits played a vital, though unappreciated role. Plywood, destined to the Midwest, the West, and the Northeast, suddenly was rerouted to South Florida. Lumber mills increased production. Truckers and other workers worked overtime so as to increase the availability of plywood and other construction material to Florida. Why? Because plywood prices doubled, and they were able to make a huge profit if they would send their plywood to Florida. Now, rising plywood.
That's all part of supply and demand, the free economy, the free market. That's supply and demand. That's what dictate prices. When something's scarce, it makes the price go up. I mean, it's simple economics here.
Plywood prices meant other things. All that plywood headed south meant that plywood prices rose in other locations, thus discouraging lower valued uses for plywood, such as home improvement. For example, just imagine, I live in Valley Forge, and let's imagine, there's a hurricane and plywood's going down to Florida, and let's say I decide to build my dog a house, and I go to the plywood place, and I say plywood prices have doubled. I say, damn the dog. Heck with the dog. Let him sleep outside some more. Now, that decision was in the social interest. That is, which is more valuable, making plywood available for people to repair homes or building a doghouse for dogs? I would say the former. Right. Although if you see some people, you would probably say the latter. Now, What caused these market participants to do what was in the social interest, namely sacrifice or postpone alternative uses for plywood? The answer to this question reveals the most wonderful feature of the market and this process. Rising prices and opportunities for higher profits encouraged people to do voluntarily what was in the social interest,
Right.
help their fellow man to recover from a disaster. Let me just at this juncture, because if I don't tell you these things, you're going to live the rest of your life not knowing.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get back to what he's saying, but it's basically that it price. We don't need the price controls because supply and demand will dictate the prices. And if you go in and control these prices and you make that lumber super duper cheap, then all of the lumber would have been bought up by this guy to build stuff that's not really needed. Whereas you got people that actually need this lumber to fix things that can get this fix things, can spend the money to get it. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, this is simple economics. It keeps these things in check. And when you have someone coming in controlling these prices, anyone can go in and buy it out, and then there's no supply left. The supply is gone.
At this juncture, let me just say a few words about something that has become very popular in today's America, or in today's world, about corporations and entrepreneurs, and that is called corporate social responsibility. Now, do corporations have a social responsibility? Yes.
They have a responsibility to the shareholders.
They
I
do.
said yes.
And Nobel laureate Professor Milton Friedman put it best in 1970 in an article when he said, and I quote, "In a free society, there's one and only one responsibility of business, and that is to use its resources and engage in activities designed to increase its profits, as long as it stays within the rules of the game, which is to say, engages in open and free competition without deception and fraud."
Right. Right. Facts. So there is no price gouging going on. We already have mechanisms in place to prevent price gouging. And if it does happen, we have means to remedy that situation if price gouging has happened. We could do it right through the courts. So this is all. I show all that to show that there is no price gouging going on. This is really about the federal government coming in and trying to control the prices and try to pretend and to try to hide the numbers of inflation. That's what these price controls is really meant to do. But it's really not going to stop inflation. In fact, it'll make the situation totally worse. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.